So
Then forget it. Let's just
yeah.
We'll just Let's go with contingency plan.
Okay. So when you're good, we're good to go.
Okay.
We're ready to rock and roll.
Awesome.
All right. No fancy intro this week either. I'm saving it.
Bet.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Atomic Drop Show. I'm your charming, colorful, and oh so handsome host, Justin Time, and alongside me, all the way out in sunny Orlando, is my co-host Kyle Cruz. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It is not quite as sunny during these quarantine days, but overall, not too bad, man. It is another day above ground, so I can't really complain. How you doing, buddy?
You know what? Just another day out in the new normal. Just happy to be here. Sorry that we couldn't produce an episode last week. Just the stars did not align at all in any way, shape, or form.
Be that way sometimes.
I know. 9 times out of 10 it's my fault. Just for the record. That one time, I'm waiting for it to happen. But until that time, 9 times out of 10, it will always be my fault for not recording on a Thursday night. However, we are here. We are semi-live this week, as you are probably listening to this wherever you get your podcast from. Obviously, we are typically live on YouTube, but this week, slight technical difficulties. It happens from time to time, but you know what? We make do. We overcome adversity, and you know what? We come out with a semi-decent, damn good podcast. Guaranteed future repeat right here.
Absolutely, my man. So what we got on tap, man? Like, we got a special show tonight. What's the deal?
For this guaranteed future repeat show, we do have none other than the rumor of Vince McMahon selling WWE? Question mark?
Wait, what?
You didn't hear that rumor?
That wasn't on the run sheet.
Oh, that wasn't on the run sheet? Oh, then it was the ever timely release of Curtis Axel.
Axelmania is no longer running wild. After 4 years of being in the Royal Rumble, he's finally eliminated. Shameful. I am extremely sad for the legend Curtis Axel, Mr. Perfect Son. Just a sad occasion. Axelmania no longer running wild all over WWE, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
Are you drinking yet?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Sounds like
yeah,
it.
I'm sure. You just caught me off guard with that
Okay,
one.
all right.
That was a good
I'm
one.
just saying.
I forgot all about that. I completely forgot all about his Royal Rumble run.
Never eliminated, bruh. Always duplicated,
Never
eliminated.
was. Oh my god, I forgot about that gimmick, and it was such a
It
good
really
one.
was. It really was.
Oh, I got tears in my eyes. Oh my god.
He's eternally over with me, bro. Like I'll never forget that gimmick. That is awesome.
It was so good. So good. Okay. Then we also have the timely release of none other than Gerald Briscoe, too, as well.
So wasn't quite a firing. He was furloughed. He
was furloughed.
Yeah, he was furloughed. Bit of some inside information about that. He's still with the company, just a temporary situation. He will be back once things return to normal. These days he's being used mostly as a scout at wrestling tournaments and and various collegiate athletic events. Those aren't really taking place right now, so once those start taking place, then he'll be back on the payroll. At least that's how I understand it.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Semi-fired.
That's how you want to put it. Semi-fired, sure.
I'd rather take semi-fired.
Why don't we just take a positive? How about semi-hired? Just on the positive side, just semi-hired.
Semi-substantial.
That works.
Oh no. And that's it. It was a rather hostile couple days after that, I remember.
I think we need to unvault a clip of this on the social media for the masses.
Yeah.
To experience this over almost over a decade old soundbite.
It was none other than it was the malt beverage Jamaican Me Happy too.
Nice.
You're making me happy.
Jamaican.
All right,
It was a hot one, let me tell you, and that's all we had in the house.
So funny enough, right? So the background on the show was, I was working for a wrestling company at the time, for an offshoot of the NWA, based in California, and so we had the at the time the then NWA World Heavyweight Champion Adam Pearce, and so he was a special guest on the show. Like it was the night before like their big national television taping in LA. And so I called in this favor. I said, "Hey, Adam, look, we have the show. Want you to come on and promote this big taping." And he's like, "Hey, sure, man. I'm a busy man, but it's okay. I'll call in and I'll promote. Help you guys out." And so, sure enough,
right on.
So sure enough,
Yeah, right.
10 minutes before we're supposed to go on the air, Justin calls me. My esteemed co-host calls me, and he is lit. Like, he is just gone. And my heart just sank. Like, this was like by far like our biggest guest at the time. I'm like, okay, like this is gonna be a groundbreaking thing, like it's gonna elevate us, like it's gonna be a fantastic interview. And so I hear from him, and he's just throwing his words already, like, hey, what's going on, Kyle? And I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
Dude, we had this episode, and it was like the quickest show. Like it probably felt like the quickest show to everybody else. To me, it was like the longest hour we've ever done. Like, I'm here just like I'm freaking out. I'm like, dude, I am completely embarrassed and all this kind of stuff. Justin, he like, I'm pretty sure you like pass out like midway through the interview. Like, I'm just trying to handle the entire thing. So we get off, and I'm like, all right, I'm pissed, but I'm like, okay, I have to show up to this taping because I'm working this taping the next day. I am dreading seeing him. Like, I'm dreading seeing Adam Pearce, right? And so I see him the next day, and then he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, so we did your show last night. Hey, was your partner loaded?" Because like the moment the interview started, I'm like, "Oh, something's up." Like, I've been there before, and I'm like, "Yeah." And so he ended up loving it. It was all good. I just recently discovered all of our old archives, and so that one is it's in the chamber, and I definitely have to unload it really, really soon, because that was a fun episode. Now
For you.
Now it's fun. Yeah. That's a good point.
Well, in the best interest of the Atomic Drop Show, I think we just need to open up a can of some Broken Skull IPA.
It's official.
All right. Let me go retrieve the can. I do have my Reload Rub and Seasoning koozie at the ready, so if you can, please excuse me.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Joel and Stacy, once again, thank you for joining us. How you guys been? What you been up to here during this crazy time? What a long 7 years these past 4 months have been.
I'm gonna tell you. I mean, and a lot has changed, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh my gosh, it's hard to even keep up nowadays.
How you guys coping? Are y'all hanging in there all right?
We are, we're out of Tennessee. we do live in one of the top bigger cities in Tennessee. But so far, it's not too crazy widespread here, as we're all talking about. We're all staying safe, and, things have kind of been on lockdown for the most part, but we're phasing back into things slowly around here. But we're just staying at home, running the business, and, we both work too, and cooking. We're cooking a lot.
Cooking a lot, man. Like, and getting creative too. We got two young boys, and so when you're not able to go order a pizza or go to the grocery store and get certain kid-esque foods, you got to get a little creative with the things that you're making for them so that they'll want to eat, man. And we've done it. It's been fun. It's been fun to create some new dishes and whatnot, and watch the kids enjoy them and all that jazz. So it's not been terrible. It's been a definite big adjustment. You don't realize how easy things were prior to all of this.
Absolutely. I am realizing that, and it's kind of trippy, like just because the nature of my work is like I'm home most of the day anyway, but yet, like my wife, like she's working from home here. She has has her little office set up, and then just going outside and just seeing everything close, and then you see shelves at the store empty. You see like streets empty out here still. Just down here in Orlando, it's a crazy time where we're all adjusting. I want to jump back because you said that that you're making like all these adventurous, like just all these different kind of dishes. I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the most adventurous thing you've made so far during this quarantine?
So one thing actually what we did here as of late is we had some hot dogs in the refrigerator, and I've never had one until recently, but I've always wanted a authentic Chicago style hot dog. So I wanted a Chicago dog. And yeah, dude. So my lady, being as awesome as she is, she got all the ingredients. It took her like a week to
I had to special order the sport peppers and the Chicago style relish.
So Chicago dog's got a specific type of relish. It looks like frickin' the Hulk green. You got to have the sport peppers. They're like little skinny, spicy pickled peppers. Onions, slices of tomato, not like big giant ones, but like little Romas, and dill pickle and mustard. But the bun has got to have poppy
seed buns. Yes.
So
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. So
at the grocery store, they only had 2 brands of hot dog buns, just plain, regular ones. So we just decided we melted some butter.
Yep.
Basted butter all over the hot dog, and then sprinkled it with poppy seeds and let them dry for like an hour, and boom, there we go.
Stuck to it, baby.
Nice.
There you go. All right, so I want to stand corrected here. The percentage of alcohol is 6.7.
Okay.
All right, I redact my statement. You need to grab the tequila.
Start with a shot of tequila. Get up and go back.
Yes, ma'am.
But no, that one was fun. Like that one out there was more for me and Stacy, the Chicago dog. As you guys know, I'm an outdoorsman. I like to hunt, and I recently got a turkey because it's turkey season right now. Yeah. So,
nice,
do what now?
Is it a nice Jake?
Yes. Yes. Thanks for pointing that out. But so a lot of times with wild turkey, because it is a wild animal, it's not like you're getting a butterball turkey, right? A lot of people, they don't keep the legs of the turkey. And a lot of people don't know, if you prepare it right, it can be some bomb-ass food. So, I brought all that back. we slow cooked the turkey leg in the crock pot with a bunch of our seasonings. And after I got all nice and soft and tender, we actually made wild turkey taquitos. We rolled that jazz up with some cheese and some fixins, and we, fried it in a cast iron skillet, and it was money.
Delicious.
Kids loved it.
Delicious.
Man. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Right. Yeah,
So you can get inventive. You can get inventive with things. Make things go. If you really think about it during all this quarantine stuff, you can make a little go a long way if you just step outside the box for a little bit.
Oh, totally. All right. Now, I've never broken into an Broken Skull IPA, so this is a live on-air taste test at this moment.
I want to hear all the notes.
Nope. All right. Ooh, it's got some nice hoppiness to it. Smells crisp. All right. Salute to you guys, to Joel and Stacy there.
Hey,
Yeah.
salute.
Thanks for having us.
Talk to me.
You could definitely taste the hoppiness coming straight out of it. First thing it hits you is that hoppiness.
Okay.
Yep.
It's nice and smooth. It's not bitter. It doesn't have that bitter aftertaste either. And I'm not much of an IPA individual, but when I saw it, I had to try it and get it just out of principle. And this is actually a damn tasty beer.
See, yeah, man, I love IPAs, and I'm with you. I don't like an IPA that's going to leave that stank in my mouth after I've taken a sip. I like a good, smooth, not floral, but kind of like a just a hoppy.
Yeah.
IPA.
So
go ahead.
Oh, all I was gonna do was ask for a recommendation, just because I'm not a massive IPA guy, just because all I taste is like just that bitterness. And so all these people, love these IPAs, but I haven't really found one that doesn't have just that bitter taste to it, which all my friends just love. So Joel, what would you recommend? Because I would love to find one.
So if you're wanting to get into IPAs, one of my everyday drinking IPAs, if you go get the craft ones, you got to really shop around for them, because they're really there's been a lot of time put into that. Sure. And into the the craft part of it. But everyday drinking IPA, if you want to get into them, good Lagunitas, man. Just go get some of that. It's a middle of the road IPA, and it is very smooth, very clean tasting. And I would recommend starting off with that for sure, because you can never go wrong. It's consistent all the time.
Bet. I've seen those I was gonna say, I've seen it on tap in bars, and then I'm like, well, I can't go to any bars anytime soon, but they sell them in stores, right? So I can pick them up if I need to.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, most all stores sell them, and if you got a Costco near you, you can get which I guess if you don't, I've never had one, I wouldn't recommend buying a case. But if you end up liking it, you can get the cases at Costco on the cheap pretty often.
I might have to do that then. Thanks for the tip.
Absolutely. Or just go out and get yourself a Broken Skull IPA.
Man, look, so I'm really bitter because Broken Skull IPAs, I believe it says it was brewed in El Segundo, California, right?
You got it.
So El Segundo is legit 15 minutes away from where I used to live, just back in California. And for whatever reason, no stores had it. They had no penetration in the LA market, and it always pissed me off. I don't understand why they didn't, but I was never able to get my hands on one. And so, I'm going to admit, the very fact you're sipping on one right now, it kind of hurts me, because it's that's my hometown beer, and I haven't.
It tastes delicious.
Thanks for rubbing it in, but but yeah, man. So if I ever see it, then trust me, I'm gonna get it. But no luck in several years so far.
Wow. You know, it took me scouring. It took me scouring across many different Wegmans up here in Rochester to find this beer, and just turned my head during quarantine, and there it was, just sitting there, and I went, on air taste test.
Random.
Needs to happen.
That is random, but
that's right, bro. You should try to order it online.
I might have to do that. Hey, hey. So you want to tell him? You want to tell him the story about the bubbly, dude?
Oh, the bubbly,
and like that experience trying to order something online and them taking 8 to 12 weeks before you get it.
So Chris Jericho has his own champagne called A Little Bit of the Bubbly, and for Christmas we spoke to each other and said, how would we like to split a case of the bubbly? It came in a 2-pack, so one for me, one from him. So we went, all right, that sounds like a nice Christmas present. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. So had mine shipped up here. I had the whole box delivered. They said it was, how long did, like 8 to 12 weeks for delivery?
8 to 12 weeks, yeah.
And let me tell you, Knocking Port Wines had that bastard up here within 4 weeks. And
that's bullshit.
It was. We were anticipating the long haul here, and all of a sudden there it was. I was like, all right, that's cool. So I got my bubbly. It's sitting right now in my china cabinet, which is phenomenal. Sitting right next to the wine or the champagne glasses that we used on our wedding night, as long with the fork and the server too. So it's all sitting right behind her. So I got Chris Jericho staring at all my wedding stuff, which I think is phenomenal. In all seriousness,
fantastic.
Oh, it is. I'm a high class guy.
That's right.
So I go to the UPS store and I ask, and I say, would I be able to ship this? Yeah, sure, whatever. It's UPS. Is it breakable? I said, yes. And he said, is it like batteries, non-partial, like weapons? I went, no. Is it alcohol? I said, yes. Okay, we can't send that now.
What the hell?
Apparently, UPS, or pretty much federal government, cannot ship off alcohol unless you take it to a licensed retail liquor store, and they can distribute it out for you.
It's weird.
So now,
so that's kind of like a. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, it's kind of like trying to order a gun online. You have to have it shipped to a registered FML or FFL dealer or whatnot. Somebody that actually selling guns.
I know. It was completely ridiculous. So now, I now have 2 bottles of bubbly sitting in my china cabinet with Chris Jericho staring at all my wedding stuff twice. And so now with that sweet, awesome stimulus check, I have now returned the favor, and I have obtained a package of bubbly being sent over to young Kyle over here. Hopefully within the next few more weeks after this quarantine is over. But I'm a man of my word. That was the first thing I bought my stimulus check, was to pay him back for the bubbly that I have times dose.
Not a good man.
I greatly appreciate that.
I had to pay back.
Absolutely.
It weighed on my shoulders, and I felt so incredibly guilty that I had this damn bottle of champagne. And originally he was going to come up here for the New York State PodCon. That bastard got canceled. So they're now going digital, but that's a whole different separate topic that we'll get into at a later date. And so now nobody is really coming up to Niagara Falls for this event. So I had to think on the fly, and then here comes a sweet stimulus check. And you know what? Let's start stimulating the economy a little bit here with a bottle of booze. So after quarantine ends, I think I'm going to crack open 1 bottle and just down it.
At least you're doing your part.
Absolutely.
I'm trying.
That
I'm
economy.
trying.
Such a selfless man.
Trying to keep it all made in America here.
That's right.
And speaking
like
of made in America, as I've told Stacy before, I have the now proud owner of a Traeger smoker.
Hey-o!
I am smoking literally anything that I can get my damn hands on. And
How you like it, man?
Oh, I love it. I feel like a
Game
man.
changer.
I feel more like a man than I have ever, besides drinking this IPA right now. I need to know, what should I smoke next? What recipe should I do? I know that Stacy was kind enough to send me over a Instagram of a somebody who specializes in Traeger, and I have not had the moment to look at it yet. But I need to know, what should I do? What should I experience? I've already done ribs. Ribs came out fantastic. I smoked some hamburgers. They tasted even better the second day. I did a beer can chicken. I did a spatchcock chicken, all in one sitting, and oh my God, they were the most succulent chicken I've ever had in my life. I need to know what is next. I'm thinking maybe a brisket is next up on the agenda here. What should I do?
Well, you can't go wrong with a brisket, but you need, anywhere from 8 to 14 hours on a brisket. And what's great about a brisket is that if you got them leftovers, you can do nachos. I did my neighbor actually smoked a brisket last week and gave us a little bit, but there wasn't enough for like all of us to eat. So we chopped that jazz up and made brisket quesadillas,
Nice.
which were phenomenal. Yeah, so you can get a lot of meals out of a brisket. But I'm going to tell you this. If you have not tried a reversed seared ribeye, you're not living. Yeah, you're not living yet.
In my freezer right now, my buddy is a butcher. He works at one of the meat packing plants up here. He was able to obtain me it was a 24-ounce tomahawk.
Let's go.
Yep.
Oh, you have no idea how bad I want to smoke this bad boy. I think this is coming up in the next day or two. And I am so damn excited to sit there. Looking at it, I was scared that the hawk itself would not fit onto the grill. And just by the skin of my teeth, it fits.
All right, so what you need to do is you need to thaw that bad boy.
Okay.
Pat it nice and dry.
Mm-hmm.
And set it on your counter for a few hours, maybe 2-3 hours before you decide to smoke it, so it can kind of acclimate to the air a little bit, like a room air temperature.
Inside, not outside.
Yeah, inside.
Okay.
But as you take it, thaw it, dry it off, and you're going to take your Magnum, and you're going to put it all over that, on the sides,
now,
both sides.
Not what's in your pants, the Magnum seasoning that you have.
Magnum seasoning. Yeah, put it all over that thing. You want it to look like glitter
crust,
on there.
Man.
You want a nice crust. And then sit it on your counter for about 2 hours before you smoke it. And then I'll let Joel take it from there.
So what you're doing when you sit it out there for about 2 hours is you're acclimating the meat. So if you got meat it's thawed but it's cold and you go directly to a hot surface, you shock the meat and it makes the meat tougher because it makes it tense up. If it's nice and acclimated, that meat's all nice and relaxed. You take that sucker out there, you set your smoker to about 225, and you're going to put it in there and let it smoke. It's generally about 45 minutes for a cut that big. And you got to live and die by the internal temp. You want that sucker to be at about 110 to 115 degrees internal, okay?
So that means you're going to have a good internal thermometer.
Meat thermometer, yeah.
So the best thing about the Traeger is it comes with a meat thermometer where I can plug it in and it tells me the internal temperature of virtually everything. And I was like, time to take the temperature of the burger. So I took the temperature of the burgers and I was like, all right, 135, crank that bad boy up to about 400. And then I flipped it over to its side and got some beautiful sear marks and got it up to 165. It was great.
Now check this out, because do you have any other type of grill?
Or a cast iron
or a cast iron skillet?
I do have a cast iron skillet, yes.
Okay, so if you don't have it, what you want to do when you sear something, most of these pellet smokers, they only get up about 500 degrees.
Right.
So you're not going to be able to get a hard sear on that thing. So you're going to want to have that cast iron prepped with a little bit of butter and olive oil in it, just a little bit, just to wet the cast iron. And you're going to want that thing screaming hot, all right? And as soon as it comes out, you lay that thing inside there and you press it for about a minute, 45 seconds to a minute per side. Take it out, let it rest for 5 minutes, and you will never want to buy a steak ever again.
Ever at a restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
So 110, 115, pull it, sear it, and then definitely let it rest before you cut into it.
Now,
let it relax, let the juices redistribute.
I don't normally promote propane, but if you do have a propane grill,
I do have one of those.
I would probably recommend using that because there's more surface area and you've got that bone coming off the tomahawk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Get that, just turn that thing to high, and you want that thermometer on that grill to just be pegged out. Okay.
Okay.
And you can't get it hot enough. And that's it, bro. I'm telling you. You'll never, ever eat a steak as good as that one right there.
And you could put a little pat of butter on top of that steak as it's resting before you cut into it.
Yeah.
In particular, there is
finishing butter.
a compound butter that you can use that we've got a recipe for with like garlic and parsley. And but yeah, put that on there, it's resting, and oh my gosh, it's gonna be a game. I wanted to report back.
Yeah.
Okay.
After you do this, because I hear what you think.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, you no idea. I am beyond ecstatic. I got 2 of these bad boys, and
don't trim the fat. Don't trim the fat either.
No, that's right where all your flavors at.
Yes, sir.
That's a given. I mean, I will actually send you pictures of this hawk, of how freaking massive it is. It's a very beautiful premium cut meat and my buddy bought me 2 of these prior to about 2 years ago. And I cooked it on my propane, and all I put was salt, pepper, and garlic, and it was the best tasting steak that I've ever cooked or ever had in my life. And all it was salt, pepper, garlic, and it just melted into my mouth. And I was like, "Oh, sweet God!" And then afterwards, what my wife did was she took the bone and made bone broth out of it, and was the best tasting bone broth out of our pressure cooker, out of the Instant Pot, that I have ever had in my life.
Atta girl. Well, I tell you, man, that's what's so beautiful about the Magnum seasoning is that salt, that pepper, that garlic. You've got all of that in there, but it's big, coarse, the heavy flakes that you need for a big cut like that are inside of there as well.
Oh, trust me, I am a big proprietor of the Magnum. The Magnum, we used to get the McCormick mix, Montreal seasoning, and I said, never again. Never again. It is just straight up Magnum all the way from here on out.
We appreciate that.
Hell yeah, man.
And that's the God's truth right there. I have been converted. I feel like I've been led astray in the past, and now I have found that spicy light that I've been craving.
Found the truth.
And the truth shall set you free.
Oh man.
But I'm just a smoking fiend right now. I saw that Traeger also has like this rib caddy that I could sit there and stack like 3 or 4 or 5 ribs side by side. And every year up here around Memorial Day up here in Rochester, we have the Rock City Rib Festival, and they have rib people come from all over the country come up here to just sit there and smoke ribs, and you just pig out for 3 days. No pun intended.
Well, listen, homie. So Stacy is a professional at ribs, okay?
Oh, baby.
And
I wouldn't say that.
I'm saying it. So my birthday was this week on
happy
Monday.
Happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thank you. Well, I came home to 2 beautiful racks of ribs that she made me for dinner. And that Magnum seasoning on a rack of ribs, it's like Texas-style dry rub ribs. And it's the best ribs, man. It's my favorite way to eat them now. Believe me, I love a good 3-2-1 candied rib, a good dry rub sauced rib. But this Magnum Texas-style rib is by far, hands down, my favorite way to eat ribs now.
It's like salty, savory, peppery, zesty.
It's got that crunch that comes off of it. But it's so simple. It's just coat the rib in Magnum seasoning and let it ride till you get it to temp. 190, 200.
See, what I ended up doing with the first thing I smoked was ribs on there, and I watched the Traeger had a how to cook ribs, and I went, you know what? I'll amuse myself. So I sat there, I ripped off the membrane, I sat there and seared both sides, or I smoked it for about 2.5 hours, and then I brought it inside, and then they recommended that get some tinfoil, lay it flat out, get a good helping of brown sugar, get a good helping, about maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons of some nice finishing butter, and then coat that with some clove honey on top of it. Then wrap the ribs inside of it and smoke it for another 2.5 hours. Now, personally, I am a sauce individual. I love sauce on ribs. It's just who I am. But trying this as a dry rub. Oh, and I also coated it too in the double action, by the way. Both sides.
I have to say that. Like, just quick interjection. So I started off as being completely nothing but packing heat. And I still love it. But I have successfully turned everybody in my house into double action fans. Like, we put it on everything. Every single thing. I love Magnum, love packing heat, but double action, game changer. And I say it every week on the show. It is legit a game changer. I don't know what. Thank you, right? But like, I don't know what you guys did, but y'all stuck your foot in that one, and it is incredible. So I am just remember this endorsement for as long as you continue to do this. Do not, if you're ever considering like not making that anymore, don't do it. Don't consider it. Continue to make it, because you will have a customer for life just off of the double action alone. Incredible stuff. Justin, please continue.
I tell you, dude, not to be I'm completely unashamed here. I would put our barbecue blend, that double action, up against any barbecue blend in the world. I'm super proud of that thing, and it's no shame here, dude. It is one. We hit a gold line with that one, and it's top notch, bro.
We use it all the time as well. But Justin, your ribs, like the method that you did is exactly how we do our double action 3-2-1 ribs.
Hey, there you go.
The butter, the honey, the brown sugar. That's money.
Yeah. Have you ever done a candied rib?
I have not done a candy rib. My wife is more of the rib maker. What she ends up doing is she'll normally she'll sear it for a little bit on the grill, and then we have what my parents call a black magic roasting pan that we usually do for our Thanksgiving turkey. She throws the ribs inside of there and cooks it in like an hour and a half or so. And when they come straight out, they just melt off the bone. Nice. And that is like the only other type of rib that I've had. But this candy rib, I am fully intrigued. So please tell me more.
That's what you did.
No, he didn't do the candy part. He did the wrapping. He didn't do the actual candied method to the rib.
He did. He did brown sugar, honey, and butter.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's candied ribs.
Oh, shit.
and then after 2.5 hours, you unwrap it and then baste it with some sauce.
Oh, see, that's a game changer right there.
See, 3-2-1 ribs is like this: 3 hours straight on the racks, take it off.
With 3 hours dry rubbed.
3 hours dry rubbed. Bring it out. Put it on the foil with butter, brown sugar, and honey. Both sides. Wrap it. A little bit of apple juice inside there. 2 hours in the wrap. Once you get to 2 hours, you pop them out of the wrap, put them back on the grill, baste them in barbecue sauce, and fry till they're finished.
That's pretty much close to what you did, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's for the most part. Yeah, I mean,